So as soon as I saw this card, my very first thought, Amethyst Steel. We're going to break down and talk about repeat and updating it for this format heading into set 6. I think the deck is in a really good spot. It was a low tier 2 deck in set 5. I think it has a chance to push into that higher tier 2 status in this coming set. We'll see how it goes as far as becoming a tier 1 deck. I'm going to say high tier 2 at the moment with the potential to see where it goes. So this is a card, weird saying, out of the steel cards, I'm not excited for that many of them, but this is one that I am very excited for. So CALHOUN Marine Sergeant, it's a 3/2 2-cost uninkable, but it has resist 1, and during your turn when it banishes another character in a challenge, you gain 2 lore. So it's a similar-ish effect to that of Robin Hood, Champion of Sherwood, with the gaining 2 lore by challenging. Obviously, you gain the 2 lore from your Robin Hood when it challenges, whereas this has to banish, and you don't have the draw effect, but it's a 2 cost, not a 5 cost. The resist 1 is really nice with the 2 health. 2 cost. Uninkables fine because this deck typically doesn't run that many uninkables, so it's an easy slot in spot. I think this card is really, really strong, and I am excited to play her. And it's only a rare too, so she shouldn't be too terrible to get. Another card you may consider playing is Treasure Mountain Azurite Sea Island. At the start of your turn, deal damage to chosen character or location equal to the number of characters here. 2 to move, 9 health, gains you 2 passive lore. So just for that, like just the fact that it's 9 health with 2 passive lore makes this card very, very appealing. Keep in mind, if you have characters here, it is not optional. So if your opponent has nothing on board, you do have to damage your own stuff, which is kind of unfortunate. But just be mindful of that. That's all you got to do. But 9 health, 2 lore, that's always going to be something to consider playing. Wreck-It Ralph. Like this and CALHOUN are like the 2 steel cards I'm truly excited for, and I think this card is absolutely incredible. It might be the best card in the set. Whenever this character quests, you can banish item or location to gain 2 lore. So it quests for 3, and then you get to banish an item or location and gain 2 more. So he can potentially quest essentially for 5 while also removing a threat on the board. I think that's really, really strong and something to not be overlooked. 4/4 body, also really good. Yzma Conniving Chemist, a nice little draw engine card, 3/3, exert it. If you have less than 3 cards in your hand, you can draw until you have 3 cards. Very good if you have no cards in your hand. Then you exert her and you get to draw 3 cards. If you don't need the cards in your hand, you can always quest for 2. I think any Amethyst deck should at least test this card out. I don't think she's going to fit into every Amethyst deck, but they should at least test her out. Diablo. Where does Diablo fit in with these decks? It's in that Broom, Chernobog, Cusco on 2 kind of area where it gets to draw you a card. Similar to Cusco, it's when it's banished. The 1/1/0/1 stat line, I feel like I don't know. It feels almost understated, but at the same time, like you can quest and force your opponent to get rid of it, and if they don't, you get to keep questing with it, and then eventually you get to draw the card. So in that regard, it's better than Chernobog or Broom because you're not playing that gambling game like, if I don't use the draw now, are they going to remove it before I get to use the draw, and then I don't get the draw? Diablo's going to get you the draw either way. So for that reason, it is really good and should be considered. Kind of like Yzma, I think every Amethyst deck should consider the card. I'm not saying every Amethyst deck should play the card. Amethyst Emerald, however, you're probably going to play the card. Only one more card to actually talk about. We're playing Amethyst Steel, so Tinkerbell Giant Fairy naturally comes to mind. And we just got a new evasive, essentially a Minnie Mouse from Ruby. Amethyst gets their version being Tinkerbell, Fast Flyer, 1/3, evasive, 2 quester. So that's pretty much it. It's another Tinkerbell on 3. Has utility. You could pair it up with a crab to take out like a Diablo, especially if it's at a cove, because you would then, I guess you would still lose because Diablo boosted by the cove. But if Diablo's not at the cove and you boost it with a crab, you'll survive that Diablo hit. So I definitely think between the shift potential, being evasive, and pairing up with Crab really nicely, that Tinkerbell Fast Flyer should be at least entertained and possibly tested. Let's get into the deck list. 13 uninkable cards. We actually peak in the 2-cost spot now with the deck, whereas like 2, 3, 4 is kind of a general peak. 252 right now is the total. Take prices with a grain of salt till new set prices settle and whatnot. But in our 1-drop spot, I went Chernobog. I went Chernobog over Diablo because I want to be able to challenge and take out threats early in a format. I expect aggro to be more popular, so I wanted to have some strength to do that. That's where Robin Hood also comes in play. You're playing Amethyst, we're playing like the bounce package, so we're gonna have Snake in there, 4 snakes. Calhoun, like Calhoun on 2 is really good. It's probably your ideal. Between Calhoun and Smee, these are your go-tos on 2. We do play the aerial cleaner still in there because just having more answers for that Diablo with your opponent. Again, you can play the Crab with the aerial cleaner to take out a Diablo that's at a cove. We're not playing Tinkerbell because Broom just does it 1 turn sooner, because then on 3 you play your Crab, boost your Broom, and Broom swing, whereas otherwise it'd be a turn 4 play. 4 foxes, like I said, we're playing the bounce package. Just the 2 crabs, I think 2 is enough. 3 Peats because you have the draw power of Amethyst to see it more often, and the bounce package to be able to bounce it and replay it. It's not like other decks where you only get 4 copies. This, you get a lot of copies because you can bounce it and keep replaying it. 3 goats, I've been really liking that in decks lately, and 4 rabbits just because it's rabbit. You're going to play 4. Elsa 5th Spirit has felt really underwhelming, but I'm going to leave her in there as a 2 of. I think we got to keep her at the moment. Like I said, she's felt underwhelming, but there's just times where you really want her. 4 Robin Hood, between Robin Hood and Calhoun, if we can start to take out our opponent's characters, it's going to help us out a lot. And before people comment, I'm going to know if you watched the video. I did misspeak earlier. Robin Hood is when it banishes as well, not just when it challenges. Typically, you set your play lines up, though, where if you have to challenge multiple times, you challenge with the other character first, and then you challenge with Robin Hood to finish it, so then you get the lore that way. So I do apologize for misspeaking on that earlier. Tinkerbell, then as a 2 of, I think Tinkerbell's just still really strong, especially into a aggro format. And I don't think we're in an aggro format. I just think, especially early on, aggro is appealing. It's easy to ease into it. It's usually cheaper, and the hype is always there. So early in formats, aggro usually is more popular, but I don't expect it to continue. But for right now, that's where we're going to go. Wreck-It Ralph, I think he's good, but uninkable 6-cross cards, I don't want to play too many of them, so we're just going to play the 1 because he's kind of like a niche closer slash useful removal, if you will. 4 friends on the other side. 2 Along Came Zeus. 2 Grab Your Swords, again for the aggro early. This card probably comes out mid to late format. Zeus, because location's also going to be very popular, very strong, so having it in there is going to be very nice and helpful. 4 Queen's Castle then, because, well, Queen's Castle is Queen's Castle, and it helps close out games so well. This card is so good. Not a whole lot more to say about it. Not too many changes, I guess. Like I said, early in the format, that's why we're playing the Grab Your Swords. Even the Tinkerbells. Tinkerbell probably would stay anyway. As the format develops and goes on, Grab Your Swords probably could come out. You could even play like a Let the Storm Rage on, because it draws you a card and deals with a lot of aggro threats. But I don't know. Right now, I want the Grab Your Swords. I like it because you have the Shift Robin Hood line too, so you could potentially play it on 3. Wreck-It Ralph, one of the new cards. So what new cards? We have Ralph and Calhoun, really the only 2 new cards playing in the deck. Like I said, I'm not overly huge on the new cards for this deck, other than those 2. And Aerial Cleaner, depending how prominent and popular the Diablo ends up being, this card could probably come out. It's definitely one of your flex spots. Do you want to play Diablo? I get it if you do, but for what I'm trying to accomplish with the deck, I felt that Chernobog Followers was better. I even thought about going for the Broom instead because the 2 willpower, meaning it could potentially survive and be able to challenge twice into those aggressive matchups. Let me know what you guys think down below. What is your thoughts on this deck? Where can it land as the format goes on? Is it kind of just that deck that has to cater to the format and be built for it? I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be really strong, and I can't wait to see where it goes. So like, share, subscribe. Don't forget 5,500 subscriber giveaway, case giveaway. So be ready for that, and take care.